Okay. Call this meeting together. What's the wishes of the board to go ahead with the voting of the officers, or wait until Jason gets here? Okay, let's wait. Let's go ahead and proceed. Lee County Board of Supervisors will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, January the 20th, 2013 at 5 p.m. in the General District Court Room of the Lee County Courthouse located in Jonesville, Virginia. The purpose of the public hearing is to take public comment on proposed changes or amendments to the Lee County road naming ordinance. A copy of the proposed changes or amendments to the ordinance is available in the Lee County County Administrator's Office, Room 111, Lee County Courthouse, Jonesville, Virginia. For more information, please contact Dane Poe, County Administrator, at 276-346-7714. You want to come up forward and tell us about it?
Sadly to say, I didn't come with any prepared speech on anything, but there were several changes and everything after the board a couple months ago agreed to allow for the people that wanted to change their driveway name, stuff like that. I went back through and was going through the ordinance, and there were some things that I spoke with the County Administrator, Dane Poe, about that I felt that really needed to be changed to help try to streamline the process. For one, it was having in the ordinance that for the creation of every new private driveway, I was supposed to be coming before the Board of Supervisors every month to get that adopted. Sadly to say, that was a procedure that I wasn't really aware of, and even none of my predecessors before me had even followed that procedure. So we're just kind of trying to streamline the whole process for like private driveways, getting it named where I'm pretty much the one on approving the driveway names, instead of having to come before you all every month on these. Another change I was wanting to get done would be the prohibiting of personalized named driveways from here on out, seeing how that is a little bit of a touchy issue. With, sadly to say, those are by far the most heavily vandalized signs and the most complained about. Now, that's not talking about wanting to rename the state routes that already have private names, but if anything were to come up, of course, that would be a petition for the Board of Supervisors for public roads, but for private driveways, just having them go through a more petitioning on that.
Alan, I've got the basic highlights if you want me to hit them for you. As he said, proper personal names would not be permitted, first or last names. Currently, the ordinance allowed last names to be used, but not first names. There is an exception if it's historical in nature, or if it's another notable individual that's to be honored in naming of a public road. It bars them exclusively from all private roads. No private roads could carry personal names, but public roads could still be named that. The petition would change, or a petition to change the road name will require a $100 fee. Previously, it only required $25, and that does not cover the cost of signage. Names for new private roads with only one structure on it may be approved simply by the 911 director after he's determined that it doesn't conflict with the ordinance in any way or existing names. Names for new private roads with multiple property owners may be approved by the 911 director if all the property owners are in agreement. But if there is disagreement on the proposed name, then the 911 director submits a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors, who has the power of approval on the new name after a public hearing is held. And then public roads are still approved by the Board of Supervisors after a public hearing. Those are the major changes in the ordinance.
That was one of the questions that I had after reviewing this was, do the other counties not allow proper names?
As far as I know, they do not.
It was recommended that they not do that to begin with in Lee County.
That's correct. That was the consultant's recommendation, to not use personal names, again, unless they're historical in nature. But the board at that time overrode that and did allow last names, but not names generally or typically seen as being first names only. But in this day and time, last names can be first names and vice versa, so it's hard to make those distinctions.
Anybody else have a question or comment? Okay, do I hear a motion to
Mr.
approve?
Chairman, you'll need to open the floor
Oh,
for
okay.
public comment.
Okay, open the floor for comment. Yeah.
Historically, all
Excuse
my
me.
life,
Come.
from 7.
You'll need to come forward and identify yourself for the record, I'm
And
sorry.
state your name, we all know you.
J. Gordon Stapleton. Historically, throughout my life, Route 748 was known as Parsons Hollow. And it was changed sometime to Thomas Hollow. And I'm wondering if there is a way it could go back to Parsons Hollow. It's Route 748.
That would be a request. Is that a public road?
Yes, it's Route 748, and again, if there's a fee that has to be paid to have it looked into, I'm more than happy to pay the fee. It's just that unless it's something that's prohibitive, I remember it always as Parsons Hollow, and most people up that way remember it as Parsons Hollow.
Any road is subject to have the name changed. There is a petition that would have to be presented. To petition to have a name changed, you have to be a property owner along that route, and all property owners along that route would have a say. Typically, once the public roads are named, you're going to consistently stay with that because of the mapping and the addressing issues, not knowing how many people live along that road. I don't know how many people that affect in having to change their address. But it would be allowed. I mean, that's...
Yeah, if it's a big hassle, it's it's not a great thing, but there's 5 Parsoneses that still have property on that as well as I. And my mom was a Parsons. Initially, I think it was changed at some point in time when Johnny Thomas, who hopefully is going to recover from his cancer, came and had it changed to Thomas Hollow. But there's no problem, as far as I can tell, in being able to have the other property owners sign a petition. If it's a big hassle, then I wouldn't mess with it because of respect for Johnny. But the only thing of it is, again, just historically speaking, if you looked at old maps, it was always Parsons Hollow, named after probably my grandfather, John Parsons.
Well, there is a procedure. There was already a procedure in the ordinance. The only thing that was changed in the ordinance was the fee that's required to be filed.
And that's a $100 fee?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. One thing that you have to consider. When
I'm
you-
sorry,
one-
Mr. Mose, I'm a little hard here. What did you say?
I am too, so. One thing that you have to consider, like people, have to change their mailing addresses, their checks, and all this. I've been into that problem, and it's something that they need to be aware of, at the time that you propose to them that change it. I don't have a problem with it.
Well, what I would do is talk with the people on that route.
Right.
To see how many of them. At one time, when I talked to Sandy Bailey, who has property on that, she was the one that said, well, I don't know why they changed it. Why don't you circulate a petition? Let's go back to Parsons Hollow. Up at the far end of the hollow, at least 5 of the properties is owned by us Parsonses, or in my case, Stapleton. And basically, I would say that the only other 2 would be the next door neighbor to Johnny Thomas and the properties that he owns. Now, he has several right there that I don't know if they're rentals or if family members live in them or if they're vacant, to be honest with you. But again, because he is presently in Texas in a hospital with cancer, I wouldn't, it's not a thing that makes that much difference to me that I would want to cause him any problems right now, if it means that much to him. I don't know how it got changed to Thomas Hollow, other than maybe the fact that he was the first property on the hollow itself, so.
That was determined, that name has been there since we originally signed the 911 addresses. So that was done by committee. There were individuals appointed to a committee from all over the county, district by district, that made recommendations for names.
Well, again, just a point of information, wanted to know what, what would entail, and so appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else on the board? Okay, I'm ready for a motion, one way or the other.
I make a motion that we accept the proposed amendments to the road naming ordinance as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Open the floor for nominations for chairman.
I'd like to nominate Carl Bailey for chair for the year 2015.
Is there a second?
Are y'all really that political, or is your ego that big?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint you as chairman of the board.
Do I hear a second? Well, I'll second the motion.
Is that really legal?
It can be done.
Go ahead.
All in favor?
Abstain.
Okay, Mr. Lawyer.
I was going to point out two things. One, there was already a motion on the floor
Yeah, that's
by
true.
Mr. Mosley. That needs to be ruled upon, for lack of a second or whatever, and then it dies, and then you proceed to the next one. That has to be dealt with first. I'm not trying to stick things up, but the chair needs to make that ruling and
Okay.
then proceed on the other
Okay.
business.
The motion is still on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Which motion?
This was the
To-
motion
to-
by
to
Mr.
appoint
Mosley
Okay.
to nominate Mr. Bailey for chair.
Mr. Bailey for chair.
And the issue now is there a second?
Okay, I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye. Which motion we voting on here?
On to elect Mr. Bailey as chairman.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion fails. Okay, now, is there another motion for chairman?
Mr. Chairman,
Mhm.
I think it passed. You seconded, Mr. Mosley voted in aye for it.
I think can he not second it and still not vote?
It doesn't affect how you vote.
Right.
Okay, I assumed he voted, since he seconded, he had voted in the affirmative.
No,
He did not.
he didn't.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess since everybody else got a shot, I'll make a motion with Mr. Larry Mosley, since he's done all kinds of work with the hospital authority and stuff, and probably done more work than anybody on this board to make sure all that was done. That's my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Do I hear a second? Well, I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Okay, that motion fails. Okay, do I hear another motion put before the board?
You won't be chairman, Mr. Pope.
I can't.
Ms. Rowe.
I'm clerk.
What about you, Jim?
I guess we can just go on with the rest of the agenda.
Okay.
Well, the agenda is that you elect the chairman.
Yeah.
I nominate Ms. Rowe.
You want it?
Of course you do, that's why you wait on Jason to get here.
Oh, no, I nominated Charlie. But how did that motion go?
I don't know.
And in there,
We
I
haven't
don't
voted
know.
on that motion
We
yet.
did, didn't we? Did that count?
No, ma'am.
No,
You
ma'am.
have to back up. If you
Oh.
want to make that motion now, you're perfectly free
Well,
to.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
I thought we,
no, because the other motion was still pending.
Do I need to withdraw my motion?
Well, you can do that
I
if
would-
you wish.
I withdraw.
It'll clean it
okay,
up.
okay.
Withdraw.
Okay, I will nominate Charlie Slim for chairman of the board.
Before I second the motion.
Now we-
He seconded this, that motion.
Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You said aye?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. I nominate Ms. Rowe, Tina Rowe, for vice chairman. Did I hear a second?
I'd like to nominate Larry Mosley for vice chair.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Larry is the new vice chairman. Okay. I resign as chairman and nominate Carl as chairman.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Ask opposed.
Mm.
Ask opposed if you.
Any opposed? All right. Okay, any hard feelings? Okay. All right. Let's change seats. Where do I go?
For tonight, you'll take his space, we'll have you reassigned, realigned
Okay.
at the next meeting, instead of everybody having to move.
Chairs. No. Too many books up here. Okay, next item on the agenda is departmental reports. First one.
Mr. Chairman, we still need to
Okay,
establish time and place and rules
My-
of procedure.
My fault, your mistake. Okay, you'd like to establish time, date, and place of regular meeting.
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we keep regular meetings third Tuesday, 5 p.m. and adopt the rules of procedure, Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor here, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next item on the agenda is departmental reports, building inspector, Mr. Harris.
Excuse me, we need to vote on the rules of procedure as a
We just
separate
did,
item.
didn't we?
Now, that was establishing the time, date, and place of the meeting. Rules of procedure is the operation of the meeting.
Okay, not the Robert's Rule
Can't
of
do them
Order.
together.
Right.
Okay. Rules of procedure.
There's current rules of procedure in the meeting unless there's changes that anyone wants to the process that we currently use.
I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anything else to do with this election instead of Mr. Pope?
That's all.
If not, I'll move it on. All right, Mr. Harless, departmental reports, building inspector.
Hey, I got a couple of handouts. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. Go back to the quarterly report. It was in your packet for 2014. There's 86 permits as issued. Total permit fee is 19 Rose Hill, 8 White Shoals, 16 Jonesville, 35 Rocky, and 8 Yoakum. Total permit fees was $11,824.95. $2,644.65 was contractor's tax. I was going to kind of point out a little bit the annual permit report that I just now gave you. If you compare what the building department evidently is on a calendar year instead of a fiscal year, and the total for the annual from January to December permit fees was $22,315.53 and $9,904.18. But these figures are probably different when you do your budget for your fiscal year. But I kind of want to point out the last quarter income for permits made up 53% of the total annual income. So just in the last quarter, due to at 53% of the income came from just this last quarter. So I think we're headed down the right path with the permit increase, and this should help y'all out with your budget and stuff. So, I want to start out by what couple things we've been doing in the office. One thing, Miss Wilder, Kathy Wilder, she completed her certification for being a certified permit tech. This took a lot of effort on her part. She made a couple trips to Richmond, also was tested by ICC, and it's a pretty little goal. We'd like to get the whole department certified, and this will pay dividends in the future, because I think later on they're going to start implementing that we'll need somebody certified in permit tech. So Kathy's went ahead and completed that. And on my certification, I've completed 3 of the 4 mandatory classes and got certified. And those classes to enable me to sit for the test, for the building official test. And my next class will be in the 2nd week of February. But also I was going to ask the board, DACD offers these classes and courses. What is training courses? They're free to the county. They give me free room and board, and they feed me during lunch, so they don't have to worry about that. But the county's out my travel time, my time, and we usually have to hire someone to replace me 2 days out a week. And they offer classes in every division, like fire and HVAC and all that stuff. And I'd like to ask the board, could I take some more of these classes? It's going to help me with my inspections, and it's also going to help me with this certification classes too. And they're mostly are in Richmond, so it's just a part of it. I was just going to ask you that tonight, see if that would be okay, or I didn't know how we're budgeted for that or not.
I think once we get you to pass that test, that's the main thing, so I think we need to proceed here. Was the board okay with that? Consensus? Good.
Also, a couple of projects that are starting up in the county, I thought you'd let you know about. Pennington's getting a new restaurant. I don't know if you've heard by rumor. They're tearing down the Long John Silver's and building a new Taco Bell. Apartment building behind John Marion's going to be remodeled, so that's 27 more appointments. Went down and checked, footer's been poured and everything on the veterinary clinic. They've not pulled their permit yet, but I've let them go ahead and do the footers to not hold them up during the winter time. They've not completed their thing. And another thing, what I give you there too, what's helped the budget too, is the violations on here. What I consider violations is when I drive by and I catch somebody working and they don't got a permit and not know about it, I'll stop and I'll make them come get a permit. And Pennington experienced a lot of hail damage, and a lot of people is not aware. Residential, if you're a homeowner, you do not have to have a permit to put a new roof on, or siding, or windows, or doors. But commercial buildings, you do have to have a permit to do those same things in commercial buildings. And a lot of these are just me driving by and catching people, and I've got 14 violations. It totaled $7,400 roughly. That's added income that we've made up just by. And a lot of these are out-of-town contractors. I mean, I know that trick. They run in here and they'll try to do one, and then they'll try to, oh, I'm sorry, but they like to get it done and get out before they catch you. But I've caught a couple of them coming to work and stuff. Actually, was
Is that on your handout?
Yeah, that's the second page I give you. Yeah. Actually, I was getting a biscuit at Hardee's one morning and caught them up on the roof and made them come down. So, but that's been going on. And like I said, part of my job is not only as code official, is a code enforcement officer, and that says part of this description here is enforcing the code, making sure the homeowners are getting took care of and make sure everything was taken care of. And it brings me to my next point. I don't know if there's a misunderstanding on my part, I guess, or during my interview. I had been, when I started to work, I thought I'd run the department the way I was running that and everything. And I went 4 months, and I was taking the car home, doing inspections to and from work, and then catching these people, and then later come and said that I was informed that the county didn't allow it no more. So that's what I was going to ask tonight about, if that would be okay if I did, because I know it's a lot of you don't know live in Pennington or whatever, but it's like a 12-mile round trip, but a lot of it's good for me for time management because I'm the only one, and it allows me, if I can catch a inspection on the way home or to work, and during O'Reilly's and stuff, I did those inspections like at 6 o'clock in the morning because they didn't even pour concrete, and a lot of people do. I try to get them real early so they can pour concrete early, and I did that for a while, and I was told I couldn't do it, or it was a county policy basically that wasn't allowed, and I was going to ask the board tonight if that would be okay if I could start going back the way I was doing it, or if they had a problem with me taking the car home.
We'll discuss that a little later when we get back to you, okay?
That's fine, man. And other than that, I think that should take care of everything. Anybody needs anything?
Mr. Clean? Mr. Crabtree? Moses?
I think you did a great job. Just keep it up. Study hard.
Ms. Ruffin? Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Next up, E911, Alan Bailey.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. First wanting to start out with the total numbers of calls in the dispatch for the month of December was 4,732. 531 of those were 911 calls, and 364 of those were 911 cell phone calls. Let's see. Entrado is making upgrades to our current system for the texting to 911 feature. Full deployment of this feature is of yet to be determined. Two of Lee County's vendors on 911 equipment are working on some minor technical issues that have come up in the past couple of months. Entrado is still investigating the matter about random calls where dispatchers have to put the call on hold before they are fully connected to the incoming caller. And Blue Ridge Voice and Data is finishing up a recent problem that occurred with the new audio recorder that was installed. It was discovered that for a few days the unit failed to record all traffic for a couple of days in the month of December. I'm awaiting a full report from Blue Ridge as to what caused the problem and how many days the unit did not record. My department is currently assisting the Sheriff's Office with getting the patrol officers trained to use the laptops for the Spillman's mobile CAD. Our system is currently experiencing a communication error, which my assistant Rex Bailey is working to fix. Once fixed and fully tested, I will be coordinated with the Sheriff's Office on a training schedule that will work well with the various shifts. The Jasper Fire Department Chief Leonard Bowen and Assistant Chief Huey Carter have informed me that due to the holidays, they are experiencing delays on getting their EMS license from the state. They are still actively pursuing it as well, looking for equipment. Once they get their license from the state, I will begin moving forward with creating their new emergency service zone. 911 road sign work is still an ongoing project. Reports of damaged or vandalized signs has slowed in recent months. Currently looking at possible dates to continue new needed signs. The new signs installed will have a different look to them now, as space is available at one end for large directional arrows and VDOT road numeric information. And finally, a topic that I know that no one likes to talk about is request for additional funding. I am requesting an increase to my department budget for the funding for part-time salaries. Dispatch currently operates with a total of 9 full-time dispatchers, 5 of them from the Sheriff's Department and 4 of them through the county. At 2 dispatchers per shift, Lee County is functioning on a bare minimum crew. When one dispatcher has to take off, the part-time workers come in to take up the slack. The original amount that was budgeted for part-time salaries in the past was just an estimation due that there was nothing to compare it to at the time. As of now, the amount left for part-time funding is just a little under $5,000, and I am requesting an additional $10,000 to hopefully push us through for the upcoming fiscal year.
Who are the part-time workers? Who are the part-time workers?
Right now is Betty Janeway and Pat Ely, the 2 former dispatchers that retired back last year.
So you're talking about the next budget year from July 1?
To help
Finish this year.
The additional just for this year.
To finish this year.
Yeah, to finish this year.
So we've got 9, need how many?
Well, there's just the 9 full-time. I mean, they're able to.
Do we need one more, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that just, well, I'm just asking for additional funds for the part-time. That way we can continue to use the part-time for the rest of this fiscal year here.
Yeah, how much budgeted, 5,000?
No, I had total for the budget 20,000. And right now there's just there's just a little bit under 5,000 left. There's exactly $4,954.11 left right now in the budget.
How much more do you need?
I'm estimating to be about 10,000 to hopefully push through. Right now with the way things are going, where people take vacations and stuff like that, probably have enough right now to make it through to the middle of March.
happened? Why wasn't it included with the original budget?
Well, when we first started the part-time, it was kind of mid-end of the year, and the original 20,000 was enough, and I really didn't know at that time if that was going to be okay, or how much we were going to be widely using the part-time. And this is the actual first full year of actually using the full-time staff to help compensate for losses in dispatch when the full-times are off.
You've got enough now through March, you said.
Middle of March,
We'll be looking at
estimated.
We'll be looking at the budget, I'm sure, maybe by then, maybe we can take a look at it and let you know in March. That's just my opinion.
Mine also. Now, come back to us in March, and if you need emergency funds, we'll take care of you.
Okay.
Mr. Slims, you got any more questions for
No, I'm fine.
Mr. Crabtree?
No, sir.
Mr. Mosley?
I'm good.
Ms. Ruff? Thank you. Next is Jenny Mullins, Extension Office.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. You should have our quarterly report packet in front of you, and I'll go over some of the highlights from those reports. The Lee County Extension Office coordinated the second annual Farm and Family Day in October at Lehman Field in Pennington. There's a list of the sponsors that donated $4,150 for that event. There was a lot more people attended this year than the first year, so we're hoping that year as opposed to the first year, and then we're hoping this year, and it's going to be in October also this year, so we're hoping each year that the numbers will increase. The Lee County Extension Office hosted the Advanced Master Cattleman course in November and December, and there was 32 people who participated in that. And a group of 4-H and A&R agents, Agriculture and Natural Resources agents, came together, and they have started a Southwest Virginia 4-H livestock camp. The first one was held in Abingdon in November. It was a 2-day event, and of the 28 youth that participated, 10 of those were from Lee County. So that was very good. Amy's doing a lot of work with the youth in the livestock program. She also offered 3 pesticide applicator recertification workshops in Lee County during December, and there was 45 producers that were recertified. In Family and Consumer Sciences, I teamed with the Scott County office, and we offered a workshop for entrepreneurs, folks that were interested in either starting a small home-based business or expanding one that they already had. And we had participants from Lee, Wise, and Scott counties. There was 9 altogether, and I think 3 or 4 of those came from Lee County. We had an open house at the Extension Office on December the 5th in recognition of the 100th birthday of Extension, 100th anniversary, and also as an open house for folks to see, some of the programs that we do. We had displays, 4-H displays, Family and Consumer Science displays, and agriculture displays of all the programs and things that we're doing in the community. There was about 40 people who attended that. I didn't see any of your all's faces, but anyway, maybe next time. I also did a reality store simulation with the 8th graders at Jonesville Middle School in November. There was 57 8th graders that participated, and if you've never seen that or know what that simulation is the kids get a job, they get a career, they get a month's salary, and they also get the obligation of being an adult. They have to go purchase groceries and find a place to live and get child care and all those different scenarios, insurance and transportation and all that kind of thing. So they get to be a grown-up for about 2 hours, and we get them to complete surveys when they finish. And there was almost well, there's 96.5% that said that their awareness of financial decisions and stuff had really increased by going through that simulation, because you get comments like, well, I didn't know mom and dad had to spend so much money. I didn't know, things cost so much. And there was a lot of them said you shouldn't have kids or you shouldn't have a lot of kids, or, you should stay in school longer. So that was the point we were trying to get across to them, and they did real well with that. I also conducted a 6-part series at Thomas Walker for the Family and Consumer Sciences classes. And this was more like a career readiness program on how to, complete job applications, how to create a resume, how to go through an interview, how to dress, the questions that they ask. And then some of the students, we let it be a voluntary situation, but they volunteered to go through a mock interview. There was 23 of them that went through that, and they said they really learned a whole lot, because I think actually a lot of them thought they knew everything about it until they actually went through it, and so they kind of learned, that they didn't know as much as they thought they did, which was good. Also, I did a Christmas on a budget. I usually do that around Christmas time to help families prepare for Christmas a little better. I also have a list of upcoming FCS activities and programs, and if you have any questions about those, I'd be happy to answer those anytime. Some of those I have scheduled dates scheduled for those, but others I do not yet. The Family and Nutrition Program, Leslie Harless is the program assistant. Over the 3-month period of October through December, she conducted 117 lessons with over 1,800 students in the primary and middle schools. She also helped with some of the other extension activities. And then I'll wind up with 4-H. Ms. Belcher also did classes at Thomas Walker High School during that time, as did Leslie too. Leslie did a cooking class with those kids there, a 6-week cooking class. Sheila did citizenship and hand washing with them. Also, the teens, the 4-H teens, helped the garden club plant fall flowers at the rehab center. That's a community service project they usually do each fall. 4-H worked with the 4th and 5th grade at several of the schools, and they're all listed. And she asked for a report on what it means to be an American citizen. And she was really impressed with a lot of the answers and concerned about some of the answers and stuff. But they got to interview someone in their family or someone that they knew and ask them what it meant to be an American citizen. So we began a quilting class at the extension office in October, and there was 7 people that started the class, and we're making quilts out of old t-shirts. And I had a class this evening before I came up here. Dramatic reading competitions in the schools, and then the youth that won blue ribbons are going to go to the county event. Or they went to the county, let's see. Yeah, they went to the county event, and then those participants will go on to the area contest, which is Lee-Wise in Scott County in April. So that's another way that she has of building their confidence and get them to, be comfortable in speaking before groups. A couple of the other highlights, she did a volcano presentation with 65 kids. One of them was really interesting because the thing actually flew off and hit the window at the school. Yeah, but anyway, it was a good learning project. And also the 6th and 7th graders and some of the high school teens did a service project. They made Christmas cards, and they were sent to the local nursing homes in Pennington, Dryden, and Duffield, and also in Harrogate, Tennessee. So she's keeping those kids really busy. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Mr. Crabtree.
Oh, yeah, I do have a question.
Mr. Lee.
Do you know when the tree grafting clinic is scheduled?
I'm not sure she has dates. It's usually around the end of March. But if you can go ahead and order rootstock if you want to.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, you can. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for all you do, Ms. Moss.
Mr. Moses?
Sounds like you guys been busy.
Oh, we have been very busy,
Just rough.
in the office and out.
One thing, Jenny, can you explain just a little bit, maybe to some of the people that didn't get to attend, what the people will expect when they go to the farm day event at Lehman Field?
Sure.
Maybe Ms. Carver put that in the paper.
Okay. The Farm and Family Day was created with the hope of bringing all the agriculture people in the community together in one place. And this was Amy's brainstorm a couple of years ago. And what she's done is that she gets sponsors from, from people who are involved in, some aspect of farming. The Farm Bureau, the Farm Credit, just all kinds of, and farm, equipment dealers and that kind of thing. And also, people education-wise, Soil and Water comes and sets up a booth. And if I start naming off, I'm afraid I'll forget, somebody. But also, too, like some of the banks will come and just hand out information. But last year she had like a sheepdog trial. There's different activities. They had like the strongest farm hand contest, and she had, and see, I'm talking out of my knowledge area, but she had like a cattle hauler trailer type thing come in, and just for people that could just look at it, the kids played on it like a bouncy house. It was so funny. I said, you'd never get them to enjoy anything any more than they did that trailer. You could just hear them thumping around, and some of the kids would take other kids through, for tours and stuff. But just different activities related to the farm community. So it was, like I say, this year it was probably twice as many people as we had the year before. So each year I'm hoping it will grow and grow. Did that help?
Comment to make on that. I think there was about 2 or 3 different events went on that day.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and she thought about that when we, and we discussed that. But in that time of year, it's just really hard not to find something that's going on. So yes, I understand. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Moses.
Thank you.
Constitutional officers report, treasurer's report, everybody's got a copy on their desk. Anybody have any questions? So I would like to open up the floor for public expression. You have 30 seconds, Mr. Gilligan, to make your...
I'll talk later if you want.
Okay.
Last month, we talked about the sewage treatment plant in Keokee. Due to the weather and the holidays, I'm not as far along as I'd like to be, but I can give you a report on what's going on. Mr. Poe, you talked about taking the plant out and doing away with it or whatever. I've been in touch with the health department. Chris Higgins, he informed me that we had to get a commercial professional engineering firm to do any design work up there on any type of commercial building, be it church or whatever, anything other than residential. And I did talk to him again today. Mr. Sherman Williams, who worked for the school board, and I'm sure many of you probably know him, told me that the septic system for the school is still in place. And Mr. Higgins told me that we could hook to that. We don't know any more about it than I do, but Mr. Williams is going to meet me in the next week or so. Up there, as you well know, he's 81 years old, so we're going to pick a good day to go up there and do that. Also, I've talked to the Division of Mines. John Jones was up there, took a look at the groundwater that we experiencing up there, and it was right after the rain, and it was very bad, much worse than I ever thought it would be. He's scheduling his engineers to come up and take a look at that, inspect the surrounding area, and make a determination as to where that water is coming from. And he thought it might be what I think that it's coming from the old strip job. Maximum Engineering will be meeting me up there probably next week to take a look at it and give me an idea of what needs to be done. At the time I talked to Cliff Carson up there, I didn't know that the old septic system was still in existence, but he's going to be up there to meet with us. As I said, we didn't get as far along as we'd want, but I have talked with septic tank makers and people, installers, and got prices. And that's where we're at. So I don't know what if you want to go ahead and do that.
Well, on the existing plant that was there, I just asked for additional time to work out the issues. I explained where we were at, that we, wanted to leave it in place if we could. Send them the information. That was right after the December meeting. Unfortunately, I haven't heard any response back at this point. And it's not uncommon. A lot of state agencies operate on skeleton crews from just before Christmas until after New Year's. And so you don't get much response because most of them aren't there. They take their leave time mandatory that they have to use it. So, but I haven't heard back from her. Well, it's one of those issues that if they don't respond and say, no, you can't do that, you just let it ride until you do hear from them. So but I'm waiting here. As of right now, they're aware of the situation, and I sent pictures with it as well so she could see it. So they're fully aware of what's going on there. So we'll leave it in place until they tell us to do otherwise.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry.
Anybody else on public expression? Not at this time, we'll close the floor. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion we approve December 16th, 2014 regular meeting and January 7th, 2015 recess meeting minutes.
Motion on the floor, here a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? County Administrator reports that payroll warrants have been issued. Hear a motion to pay the bills.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next item on the agenda is delegations. Becky Nave, Southwest Virginia Public Relations Director, Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board of Directors Board of Supervisors for having me here tonight. I'm Becky Nave, and I'm the Public Relations Director for the Southwest Virginia Cultural Heritage Foundation and the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. In my role since I've been on board, I've been going into all 19 counties in Southwest Virginia, introducing myself. A lot of your faces already know from my previous job with People Inc. for many, many years. And I wanted to introduce myself, but also let you know some initiatives and things that are going on, just to make you aware. I know you're aware of a lot of the things we do already. I put a copy, also the PowerPoint, that a lot of times we do when we have more time to offer, in your packet. One of the things I wanted to point out is we have a website. It's the mysouthwestvirginia.org. in which Lee County does have a place on there with all your major assets and anything else that you want to put on there for Lee County. If there's an event going on, we ask that you always make sure you submit your event to this website, and you all have been really good about doing that. I think a lot of it Ashley Seals has been doing, but you've been really good about doing that. I have a governor-appointed board. Most of the legislators and a lot of our leaders in Southwest Virginia are on there. One of my first things that they wanted me to do was create a Southwest Virginia newsletter. And I don't know if you all have received it. If you have not been receiving it, you have my card in this packet. Please send me an email, or maybe one person could send me all your emails that would like to receive it. The county leaders throughout thought it would be a great idea to give you an update. That way you see what's going on for our region.
You know, and also, you're also included, I know this past one had Ashley's picture in it, where she was one of our spokespersons for the Mountains of Music Homecoming press conference. So I wanted to point that out. Also, you have in there from Round the Mountain what rack cards we use for the Wilderness Road Artisan Trail. If you ever see anything like this that needs updating or something isn't right, you now have a contact. Please let me know, because we'll be happy to update that. The Crooked Road. How many of you all have heard of the Mountains of Music Homecoming? Yes? Okay, good. It's going to be June 12th through the 20th. We ask that each county submit cultural experiences that we can advertise. We hired Market Connections out of Asheville, who's doing not only a regional, statewide, but national and international promotions for this. And you all have submitted a number of events already. To name a few, the Lee County Historical Society, Jonesville Jam is going to be a big one, at the Cumberland Ballpark. You've submitted a concert, quilt show, craft fair, also a barbecue dinner from the Lions Club. But this is your opportunity. If there's organizations in this county that could use some help and use some marketing, they can submit this event. The deadline to do this was Friday, but we've had so many submit that we're giving it another week or so to get them all in. But if you think of somebody that's needing a fundraiser, it's a great time for maybe the fire department, you know, to offer a supper during this, because people are going to be coming for this event. To go over the next thing, there is also a website that's been created, and it's in your packet. It's called mountainsofmusic.com. Once we get all the events uploaded to that, you'll be able to go on there and look, and then people can map their route throughout the homecoming event for that. Another one I had on there was also Bates Family Farm Tours, and this is great, tying in the agriculture to it as well. The next and latest initiative that we've kicked off is the Appalachian Spring Southwest Virginia Outdoors initiative, which the Daniel Boone Wilderness Trail is one of our major anchors in this. We have 8, and that's one of them. Some of the affiliated state parks included the Wilderness Road State Park, Natural Tunnel State Park, Cumberland Gap National Historic Park. We are working, in fact, I'm going to be in Richmond the rest of the week working with their National Media Relations Director, as well as some others. We're going to do a national campaign to kick off our Southwest Virginia Outdoors, in which all these will be included. We've also been working with all the state parks to make sure we have all the assets for each county listed. Let's see. Another thing, we had a Southwest Virginia Outdoor Expo back in September. We had over 1,000 attend from even outside our region. We had about 8 different states attend. We had representation there from all 19 counties. So that's going to become an annual thing as well, bringing us together as a region. One of the last things I wanted to say, we're also doing something called Southwest Virginia Homegrown. If you have entrepreneurs that are in your county that we could help in promoting, we are featuring one. We wanted to do one a week as they start coming in, and really doing a promotion, and even if I'm just notifying our region of them. We take care of the write-ups, we notify them, get their pictures, and you've got a sample of this on page 3 on the PowerPoint at the top of one that we did recently. We also send it out in the newsletter. In your packet as well, you have a copy of the Southwest Virginia Economic Analysis Report. Jack Morgan, who is a policy analyst, he works for Friends of Southwest Virginia. Last week when I did these, I had laryngitis, so at least my voice is back some now, but I apologize. Jack usually goes over this report. It's a very comprehensive report. It goes in, and Lee County is stated in here on your numbers. In fact, he's in Richmond now working with BTC to get the latest numbers for all the counties, so we'll have the new one out. A lot of the counties are requesting we send this to them electronically because they like to forward on to their shareholders. I guess the last thing would be make sure that you're encouraging folks in Lee County to do the entrepreneur boot camps that are coming May 7th, where they can win money to start a business. There's one that's specifically for Lee and Scott County, And so they can win up to $5,000 to help them either start a business, or maybe they're already in business but want to expand. This is a way they can do it. The classes are going to be held down in Duffield at the Pioneer Center. And this is another great opportunity for someone in your county to help them get a business started.
What day was that, ma'am?
It starts May 7th.
At what time?
It'll be at 6. And you can also, People Incorporated is going to be doing those classes. And it's also through the My Southwest Virginia Opportunity Team, which is representatives from all the counties. We've got all the PDCs who we work with on this board. And you can go to People Inc.'s website also. I just noticed on my way here, actually I had to find out from Richmond, they did a big article in the Kingsport Times in the Sunday paper. And on the front page, and it has Southwest Virginia, and it lists this about Lee and Scott counties and entrepreneur boot camps and where you can go to sign up for those. Okay, I know that was a lot of information really quick. At some point, maybe Jack can come back and go into detail on this economic analysis report. If you'd like more information on anything, please contact us. We'll be glad to help. And do you have any questions?
Lee?
Yeah.
Mr. Crabtree?
No.
I would just like to apologize to you for not amending the agenda and moving you up so you didn't have to sit here so long.
Oh, that's okay.
You have to drive back
Yeah.
to have him. So,
I live in Bristol, but it's a little bit shorter, but it's not too
I
bad.
apologize.
That's okay.
We'll take care of you next time.
That's all right.
Ms. Rowe?
Thank you.
Thank you, it's very informative.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And if you'd like to be added to the newsletter, I think you would really get a lot of information that maybe you're not sure about, so please let me know. And thank you for helping me set this up.
We'll get him to.
Okay, get all the
in
names.
one
Okay.
shot.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Okay, next item on the agenda is finance, monthly appropriations.
I make a motion, we approve monthly appropriation 15-001.
Motion here, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Opposed? Okay, next item on the agenda is board appointments, Dryden Water Authority.
I move that we reappoint Patsy Quillen. I talked to her today and she is willing.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, next item on the agenda is building code appeals.
Dane, what does that board do?
They hear any appeals that are filed to decisions made by the building official. To date, we have never held one.
I mean, well, I talked to Larry Flannery today, and he said he's never been to a meeting, and he doesn't want to be on that board.
Okay.
So
We had
They've never
one.
met, Charlie.
That's a hell of a lot.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, we
He's got
had,
perfect attendance.
there was one appeal filed before I started, but it never came to a hearing. And we've had one filed since, and it has not come to a hearing. So the matter's been resolved. The parties were able to work it out without it ever having to come to hearing. But in the event that there was a dispute where there was a question or the property owner contested a decision of the building code official, then it goes to the building code appeals board to determine if it's upheld or not.
I got somebody in mind, but I don't want to insult their intelligence before I tell them that they may
Well,
never meet.
Since they haven't met, I don't think a month's delay to let you talk to them is going to be a problem.
So I make a motion that we table this until next time.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, next item on the agenda is community policy and management team.
Mr. Chairman, On the Building Code of Appeals,
Oh, you got one there too, I'm sorry, Mr. Rupp.
I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint Paul Trammell.
Okay, got a motion?
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next item on the agenda is Community Policy and Management Team. Mr. Polk, can you enlighten us on that a little bit?
You have a letter of recommendation on a community member, and that member actually had previously served on the CPMT committee as a representative of the schools, but has since retired from the school system, so would be eligible to serve as a community rep. There are representatives on there from various agencies. It's prescribed, and they appoint, or they send representatives from their agency to them. The board has certain appointments, has a board member appointment and a community appointment. So this would be your community appointment if you accept this name.
Mr. Wagner, I've served on it. He's very knowledgeable, probably one of the most vocal ones, stands up for the kids. It's a lot dealing with the kids and the money and what's spent and what's not. And he seems to be one to be very, wants to do what's right, but yet doesn't want to throw away good money. Wants to get the biggest bang for the buck. And that's what it's just my opinion of it.
Well, I've known him for a lot of years, and I agree 100% with the comments you made there, Jason. He is and a good Christian guy also. Also a very good musician.
So do we need to vote on this, Mr. Polk?
Yes.
I make a motion we appoint Rob Widener.
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? VDOT project adjustments.
Excuse me a second.
There's copies of project drawings and a resolution to affect the changes in the secondary system of highways made necessary by the construction of a new bridge on Route 833, which is 911 name is Longleaf Road down in the Beach Grove area. Changes basically abandon the old bridge and the approach line, and it incorporates the new bridge and approaches into the secondary system. This is typical house cleaning matter or housekeeping matter when new construction takes place on an existing roadway. The drawing will show you the areas being abandoned and the areas being added to the system. And as you can see, they're parallel side by side, just with the new bridge alignment.
Okay, and then a motion to approve these project adjustments.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 15-002, project adjustments on Beach Grove Bridge and Road.
Got a motion second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Landfill gas and groundwater monitoring reports.
We are required by DEQ to file an annual report on their gas monitoring for the previous year and also groundwater monitoring for the previous year, along with technical information and interpreting that and providing information to them. We've been under contract with Lane Engineering for general services. They've proposed task orders number 15-01 and 15-02 for these two annual reports. Task order 15-01 for the gas monitoring provides for an estimated fee of $5,500, which is the same amount as last year. Task order 15-02, the groundwater monitoring report, provides for an estimated fee of $11,750. This would be a $500 increase over last year. These are mandatory reports, and I would recommend approval of both task orders.
Mr. Poe, is the increase of the well due to the additional well being?
More of the technical data. A lot of this, they assemble a lot of the information, but then they have another firm that prepares the technical aspect of the report, and just the time required in developing that year after year increases the fee primarily.
Okay, and then a motion to approve.
Make a a motion we approve task orders number 15-01, 15-02.
A motion here, second.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Okay, next item on the agenda is potential rural addition projects.
Last month, I provided an estimate of funds available for the program, and I did not bring with me last month the projects from District 1 and District 3 that the supervisors had already asked VDOT to look at. A copy of that is included in the packet this month, and as I indicated last month, we still have some applications on file for each of the districts that have been on file for several years, but just providing this as additional information if and when the board wants to move forward on the rural addition program.
I think we need to probably look at this and bring back our recommendations next month. This will be time to get started on these roads if we can get any of them done.
I've also included in there a copy of the, basically the guidelines, instructions for roads to come in or be taken in through the rural addition program, and a copy of the property owner petition for acceptance of the road that would have to be completed for any road if we don't already have one on file for it. And if we do have it on file, we would probably need to update it to see if we have the same owners now as we did, because like I say, those have been on file, some of them probably been there for 10 years.
I'll make a motion we table this to next month. Everybody get some more information together.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Mosley?
I have a question for Mr. Poe. On that Marshall Drive, I've got the estimate distance here for George Jones, but I don't have one for Marshall Drive. You have something?
This is just, no, I don't have anything on that.
Okay.
This was provided by VDOT, and this is all I've got.
All right.
Mr. Mosley?
That's a good thing.
I can, I'll shoot him an email and ask for the distance on that.
I'm just curious.
Next item on the agenda is solid waste management plan update approval.
I had sent you, wasn't available when the packets went out, but I sent you a copy of the proposed solid waste management plan update. We're required to update this document every 5 years. And I hope all of you got them. We mailed them out, I don't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday last week, but I believe it's Thursday we got them in the mail, but I hope you got your copies where you had time to review them. It's basically, a lot of the document takes in historical data dealing with solid waste history in the county, tonnages, volumes of various products of solid waste, recycling, different things of that nature. It incorporates current numbers and most recent data available on all of that, and then using all of that in changes in culture and changes in technology, projecting how waste will be handled in the county for the next 20-year period. And as I say, these have to be updated every 5 years. Because we did not have what they consider a major revision in ours, doesn't require a public hearing. The last one we did required a public hearing. This one would simply require approval of the board for this to be submitted to DEQ.
Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
A motion to hear second.
Second.
A motion second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next item on the agenda is erosion sediment control ordinance update.
You also should have received a copy of a draft erosion and sediment control ordinance. We revised our ordinance just a few years ago. It's probably not been more than 3 years ago. But this past year, erosion and sediment control, along with stormwater management as it was coming into play, moved from the Department of Conservation and Recreation to the Department of Environmental Quality at the state level. So every reference in ordinances that referred to the department being Conservation and Recreation had to be changed to DEQ. There's some code sections that had to be changed, things of that nature. So the copy you received should have demonstrated the changes, taking into consideration our current ordinance and the state model ordinance. And Tim Miles down at the Daniel Boone Soil and Water office was gracious enough to go through this and highlight and mark all the proposed changes. I have reviewed those with relation to the county's ordinance. Because this is an ordinance, though, it will require a public hearing. I just wanted you to be able to see the document before you voted on whether to schedule a public hearing for it. But if it's the board's wishes, we schedule a public hearing for next month for it to be considered for adoption.
Sounds good to me.
Just do it regular meeting, Mr. Clerk.
Yes.
You need consensus or vote?
Consensus is fine.
It's fine, yeah. Everybody okay? Okay, next item on the agenda is resignation of Commonwealth Attorney.
Most of you are aware, the Commonwealth Attorney received appointment to the General District Court Judge's position for the 30th Judicial District. So as such, he cannot serve both capacities and has submitted his resignation. So I provide that for your information. Mr. Callahan, will they need to take formal action in the way of petitioning the court for an election? And I'm assuming they're going to just hold it at the regular November election. I don't think they'll be ordering a special election.
Well, you know, it's totally discretionary with the board. They can if they want to. You know, several times, especially in recent years, you know, boards let go just to the general election. And what that would mean, you know, Stacy Easted is the Commonwealth's attorney now.
Yes.
And she would continue on to the end of the year if the board did nothing on it. And of course, with county election this November, that would determine from January 1st on. You can make one if you want to. You're not compelled to if you don't want to.
Just cost the county money, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. I'll check with Dane, but I believe it's, what, a little bit over 10,000 for an election?
For one like this, yeah, probably would, a special election if they held it at some other time. So yeah, probably the minimum you could do.
So no action means we accept as is, huh?
Nothing's needed. It's one of those issues where code says that the board has so many days to act, and failure of the board to do so just drops it into the hands of the district court judges, and they deal with it anyway.
Yeah, that could be also if, you know, you'd have to look at more seriously if the election year was not this year.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they would order a special election.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Probably at the next general election, or the next November election if it were not, but since this is an election year.
Circuit Court has the authority to order a special election if the board does not, but I don't expect anything of that sort.
Right.
Okay, next item on the agenda is reports and recommendations of the county attorney.
Have none.
Reports and recommendations of the county administrator.
I have two. Both of these just came in today, and because of the nature of them, is the reason I brought them with me. The first one is pay request number 1 from Green Construction Company, who will be constructing the new transfer station. Because of the weather and other circumstances as far as our site plan approval and things of that nature, they've really not been able to do any work. The only thing they've submitted payment for is their performance bond, and that is $9,225, but I would recommend payment of this.
Make that motion to move forward with it.
A motion to hear second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The second item is we received in the mail today notice of approval of the domestic violence officer grant for this calendar year. This is the one oddball of all of them that runs calendar year rather than fiscal year. And so this is actually the grant beginning January 1, and we just got it today, but that's typically how it happens. It's a total of $48,075, $36,056 is federal funds, $12,019 is local match funds from the county, and this is the same amount that we received last year and budgeted for. So this is just continuing it at the same amount, but I would request approval of the board to accept it.
Make a motion to accept the grant.
Got a motion on the floor here, second.
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Those are the only two items of business I would, because of some developments today, would request a very brief closed session for investing in public funds.
Okay, this time I'd like to do reports and recommendations of the board. Mr. Sling?
None.
Mr. Crabtree?
He just stepped in.
Mr. Mosley?
I've got a complaint, Mr. Poe, I've voiced before, and that's the trash on 58.
I brought that up. I talked with the sheriff's office late last week, about that as far as the area down at Flatwoods, and I also witnessed what you were talking about at 58, and then there's a section from Pennington to Ben Hur that all of that looks the same.
I think they worked on that today.
Up on top of the hill there?
The sheriff's office.
Oh, they did, okay. So I brought that to their attention last week. Of course, weather had not been good. There's conditions when they can't get them out. When it's real cold, they just won't let them get them out. But because I guess it warmed up, they were good about getting them out. So that's good. I'm glad to hear. He just said he would get it as soon as he could.
Right.
So I made him aware of all three of those locations. So.
I don't think they have that cold weather gear to get them out in.
No, they don't.
One thing, but, I mean, there's full bags of trash laying up that road, and I don't think came off the people that are hauling it away. It's something that's, people are just negligent and just throw it. I mean, they'd have to put it on their hood for it to roll off in the ditch. I don't know how you, it just amazes me, but, and then, have Mr. Fleener to call me. I have another project for him.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Ms. Rowe?
No, that was the only thing I had about the trash on the 4-lane.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have a question for Mr. Poe. How are we coming with their station up at Old Maker property?
We were moving well. The property owner has agreed. I wanted to get the VDOT up there to view it, their entrance permit tech out of Norton before we seal the deal. He looked at it, gave me an initial, he didn't see any major problem or anything really that he thought was a problem on the entrance permit, but he said he'd have to go through the district office in Bristol. The engineer in Bristol kicked on him. She visited the site, and because of the distance from the intersection, they have some other governing guidelines about speeds and things of that nature. I've contacted our resident administrator at the WISE office and asked him to have his staff take a look at it and see if they could intervene on our behalf. The site distance, it's on a straightaway. There's adequate site distance to the right, to the north, to the south. There's not 550 feet, which is what would be required. There's not 550 feet, but it's not a lot short of that. But it ends in an intersection with Old 58 right there. So my theory was, you've got an intersection, traffic can't be traveling but so fast coming from that direction since there's an intersection. And we've probably got twice or more the sight distance that VDOT has for that turn off of 058 onto that road to begin with, because it's a pretty much blind curve from traffic coming from the east on that turn off. Of course, they don't look at what they've already got out there, they look at what their current guidelines are. But a representative of the WISE office has looked at that. I was told last week that he had looked at that. He thinks that they can get something done on it. He's trying to intervene on our behalf. I'm waiting to hear back from him on whether he's got anything done on that. So,
Why if they don't approve it?
if they won't approve the entrance permit, there's no need to acquire the property. And that's why I held up on trying to sign any kind of deed or anything until we know sure. And I've explained that to the property owner, what the issue is that we're dealing with. And he said there was no hurry, that was fine. So But trying to get some help from the local level on that issue. I mean, when you stand there where the engineer suggested that we move it further to the north, but the problem is there's a single drain pipe under the road to the south, there's a double drain pipe to the north, and the distance between those two sets of pipes is not enough to put the center. And then there's that's the restrictive area. So the area we chose is about the only area we can go in and maintain the sight distance to the north and still have fairly good sight distance to the south. But it's still better sight distance than we've got at the site we're actually using now. That's the thing that gets me. We're trying to improve the situation from several standpoints, and yet their guidelines are working against us.
Mr. Crabtree?
I have none.
Mr. Paul, one thing I was wanting to say is it looks like somebody's just went on a garbage spree. Looks like, I mean, it's not just flatwoods, it's starting, you know how it is this time of year, it starts to mount, you know, all the vegetation's dead and it grows. But if you could just have Mr. Fleener, and I know we do this every year, but just focus on like the first half mile on each road, you know, especially off of 58. You know, says he's got 100-some probationers. We need to get them to work, so. And that's all I have. Anybody else got anything? You say personnel, Mr. Poe?
Investment.
No, investing in public funds.
Make a motion, we go into closed session for Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A6.
Got a motion to hear a second?
We just beat me today. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Now executive session. Like the poll board, make sure we didn't talk about nothing except what we went into executive session for. Mr. Slim?
Nope.
Mr. Crabtree?
Yes.
Mr. Mosley?
Yes.
Ms. Rowe?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey, yes. Okay, we're back in regular session.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we make a contribution to the Lee County Hospital Authority in the amount of $100,000 to help with the ongoing procedures and the things that we have to spend money on, such as lawyers, feasibility studies, and what is it, Mr. Poe, doing
The appraisals.
appraisals on the property and things. And I know from being in a meeting there today that we don't have very much money in there. And I think it's very important to the people of this county that we can do everything we can to make sure that they do have health care.
Second that motion, Mr. Mosley.
Thank you.
A motion on the floor and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any discussion? I'd also like to thank Mr. Mosley and Mr. Poe for all their continued efforts and help serving. They're actually not on the authority, but they serve in a capacity directly related to this board. And you know, our direction is to get this hospital open so our people will have access to some health care and not have to go all the way to Kingsport or wherever. They can make a stop in Pennington if they need to. And I think it's just the next step in trying to make sure we secure the property and everything up there so we can move forward. Anything else, Mr. Mosley?
That's it.
You need any action on anything else, Mr. Poe, or just?
No.
That's me. Okay, I make a motion that we
Recess.
recess till
February 5th.
February the 5th at
Louise, does the IDA meet at 6?
Yes.
Okay, at 6 o'clock.
February the 5th at 6 o'clock.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Have the link here.